Chapter 5. Taxation. Section 2. Money and banking as theft. If governments could only steal through direct taxation, they would still be huge burdens on society. Unfortunately, this only represents a small part of the taxation racket. Government sponsors have devised far greater ways of stealing from us through the banking system. Most currencies used in the world today are just pieces of paper or digital numbers created by central banks. When they print more money, supply and demand still apply, so the money loses value. Authorized banks employ fractional reserve banking, which allows them to create money out of thin air with a loan to someone while only holding a fraction of the cash behind it. Because the printing or digital creation of more money inflates the supply, this is referred to as the inflation tax. This delicate combination of force and fraud is designed for theft on a massive scale. If people could avoid the inflation tax by using money that doesn't consistently lose value, they would. To impose a currency, governments must outlaw competing currencies. This means if you use a different device of accounting for trade than the official money, you will be locked in a cage or face other legal sanctions. Eventually, a government's money becomes so widely used that no one even questions it. Propaganda about how essential this racket is to the economy keeps it going. Government money that isn't backed by anything allows all who benefit, either as early recipients of the new money or bankers authorized to create it, to siphon off massive amounts of wealth from the entire economy. It doesn't matter if banks have monopoly power from governments or governments themselves run the banks, they exist to serve the super rich. As with all taxes, the purpose is to transfer wealth from the poor to the rich. In the case of the inflation tax, it is also a great way to convince the poor they aren't being taxed at all. The inflation tax hurts the poor and working class the most, and no one who uses government money is safe from it. Chapter 5. Taxation. Section 3. Why so complicated? Taxation is a massive and complex undertaking for any government. Stealing from almost everyone in a country is no easy task, but governments have a way of making it look even more difficult and complicated than it really is. This is not due to the challenge of the task or by accident or the result of ineptitude. Governments intentionally create complex tax systems to favor special interests and make it difficult to challenge tax collectors. A complicated tax code, along with a complicated legal system, allows for arbitrary enforcement. If a government agent wants to go after an individual, it is easy to show how they have not been in perfect compliance with the tax code, because perfect compliance is nearly impossible. As long as society accepts that taxation is not theft, you could be jailed at any time. If you have the money or means to challenge the tax collectors in a government court, it can be very expensive, and you might end up with more money if you just give in. However, if you choose to fight some particular theft against yourself, you might lose and have to pay legal fees as well as whatever taxes plus interest the government wants to impose. Resisting government theft by turning to governments might seem silly, but the only alternative is to conduct our business so they can't see it.